It is day nine of my journey towards writing my fantasy novel. And it was another very busy day. And so it is now 9:30 in the evening. Uh, but baby steps, I still took some time to write down some more ideas. And I'm recording this little accountability video to let you know what I came up with. And it's so funny. Remember yesterday I played this recording that I made at 6 o'clock in the morning when I woke up with this idea of what else could happen during this pilgrimage to the solstice reading of the Holy Book, or the Codex Fabulae. And I was like, I need to make it a bit more exciting. So I came up with this idea of it's not just about Tim trying to make the perfect mix for the frankincense and then the what is it, the shiny pine cone that he tries to get from the tree, and then someone else climbs in the tree and reaches it before him but falls, breaks an ankle, etc. No, I was like, well, what if there are brigands in the area, or Vikings or whatever, and they want to attack the monks? So I developed this a little bit more, and then and all of a sudden it all came together. So because Tim and the other person, and I will tell you who that person is because I got another idea, but because they have fallen behind, the monks are way ahead of them. And of course, Tim doesn't want to abandon the other person. So it takes time for them to join the monks again. But because of that, they hear voices, and then they overhear a conversation of these brigands. And they are plotting their attack on the monks, thinking of, obviously, like I said before, that the shrine contains treasure. And then, and this is something I still need to figure out how exactly, they managed to alert one of the scribes, maybe the leader of the scribes. And I still need to figure out how, because obviously they can't outrun the brigands who are already on their way to attack the monks. Maybe, I don't know. I'll figure something out. But anyway, the leader of the scribes is alerted by Tim and the other person, and that is how they can fence off the attack of the brigands. These are not the evil mages; those will be coming into play later on. But who is this other person who climbs in the tree before Tim is able to do that? I was thinking, well, what if that is Elara? Elara obviously is the female companion of Tim and one of the power trio. But then that kind of messed up my original idea, where I had come up with the idea that Elara was part of a female monastery. She was already a nun and very much in the same position as Tim, which is kind of a bit awkward, because then how will these two meet? And this is originally, I thought they will just meet at the solstice reading, right? But then how can I make that interesting? But then something changed. I was like, well, what if Elara is part of a congregation of sisters that take care of the monks? This is something you see a lot in the Catholic history. I mean, also recently in my own life, I've seen this. For instance, when I was studying in Rome, I lived in a house for priests that were sent by their bishop to Rome for a doctorate, or in my case, for communication studies. But none of us could cook. We were all very busy with our studies, and so there was this congregation, this community of sisters, and they lived literally in the basement. It's like house elves, and they were from India, and they would cook, and they would do the laundry and everything. And I remember how when I arrived there and I heard that, it felt so wrong. I was like, this should be a thing of the past, You cannot treat female sisters as house elves. Come on, teach us how to cook. And I don't know. It was so old fashioned, and I don't know. It's just, I did not feel comfortable. The sisters, by the way, did not complain at all. They just wanted to serve, and it did never cross their mind that this was maybe not their optimal way of contributing to the church. But anyway, I still remember I had lots of conversations with these sisters, and I heard about their dreams, and some of them were like highly educated sisters. The only thing they let them do was cook food for these spoiled priests. Um, so that gave me an idea, and this is an example of how I'm using a lot of my own experiences to forge this story, but also maybe to bring across what I felt many years ago. This is more than 25 years ago that I was studying in Rome. So what if Elara is actually part of a congregation of sisters, and they live in the same monastery and literally in the basement? And what they do is they take care of all these monks and the scribes and everything. But what if Elara is so intelligent and she sees all these young boys and they get all the interesting courses, and she would love to join the classes, but she can't. She's a girl. Her place is not in the classroom. Her place is in the basement, cooking, being humble, etc. So Elara is this very feisty young woman, and that has to do with her past. So I'll probably keep that backstory intact, where she's gone through a lot of hardship as a child, and now she's strong, and she thought, I'm going to join these sisters, and I finally will be in charge. And now she's actually reduced to the same kind of slavery that she experienced back home when she was a child, something like that. But because these monks take several days or maybe even several weeks to travel to the place of the solstice ritual, they have asked the sisters to accompany them, and the sisters have to cook, gather ingredients. This is how Elara knows exactly where to find the right mix of ingredients for the frankincense. And she hopes, her goal is like, I want to show this abbot, this dude who is in charge of the male monastery, that girls too can contribute. I'm going to make the best frankincense mix, and I'm going to use all my knowledge to kind of show them that these boys are lousy compared to what she can bring to the table. Her secret dream is that one day she can just do what the boys are doing and join and learn and study and go up in the ranks, and I don't know, be like the Saint Bridget of her times. Maybe I should call her Bridget. Oh, maybe she should be called Bridget, because you have Saint Bridget, who's such a strong woman. Maybe that's a little bit too much on the nose, but anyway, she's a bit like Saint Bridget, destined to become a great saint, but currently kept small, kept humble, because of the lack of career opportunities for women in those days. So she hears about the ritual, and maybe Tim explains to her what he's looking for, and then she's like, "Well, you know what? I'm not going to help this guy. I'm gonna get that pine cone, and I will be the first to bring that frankincense for the ritual." And Tim is like, and the fact that she climbs in that tree and she falls shows so much about her character, because she's ambitious, she's strong-willed, she's very agile, but she's also reckless. She's a bit like Princess Leia. She's like, just, I'll think about stuff later. I need to do this right now, no matter what the danger is. And so Tim, being much more socially awkward, because he wants to help her, still plays a role. So even despite the fact that he's no match for her in terms of character and matureness, it's by his sheer kindness and his willingness to just help and forget about his own interests there. And so these two overhear the plot, and maybe it's Elara who comes up with a solution on how to reach the scribes. And then they are ultimately, when the brigands have been defeated, lots of magic is going to be involved. That's going to be the first fight and has to be awesome. So I've never written action like that, let alone magical action. But that's going to be a lot of fun to figure out how to write that sequence. But when the fight is over, the brigands are defeated. The abbot actually calls the two of them and says, "You have saved not only the monks, you've saved the future of Ireland, and you've saved the Codex Fabulae, and I want to reward that." And then Elara is like, "Finally, my moment has come." And then he turns towards Tim and says, I'm going to give you the opportunity to train with the scribes, and the leader of the scribes, he's going to be your teacher. That's also the one that they alerted, and it's this very kind, wise old monk, and like the Obi-Wan Kenobi of the story. And then he turns to Elara, and Elara is like, "Oh, my time has come. Tim and I will actually finally learn the secret magic of this monastery." And then he tells her something like, "And for you, dear Elara, I admire your initiative, and you know what? You be the next head of the novices, the other girls. You can be their leader, and you teach them to be just as alert." And she's like, "What? No, I don't care. That's not what I want." And then it's basically, "But you're a girl, and this is a great honor. Be glad. Count your blessings. What more can I give you?" And Elara obviously is like super frustrated and angry, and it's like the same story all over again. This is how she's been treated throughout her life. And you see, it's no, I won't accept this. She's enraged. And Tim tries to kind of appease her and calm her, like, "Oh, come on, I really feel for you." And Tim is like, "Man, this is not fair, but yeah, I'm not in charge." But then when they're back at the monastery after the whole ritual, etc., Tim actually talks to his mentor, to the old monk, and he says, "Is there anything you can do with Elara? If it hadn't been for her, you wouldn't have been alerted. She came up with this brilliant idea that I still don't know what that is, but I'll figure it out. But if it weren't for Elara, the book wouldn't be here right now." And then the monk is like, "You're right. You know what? We're not going to tell anyone, but I'm going to train the two of you in secret, or at least, well, it's going to be a secret that I'm actually training the both of you. And then we'll come up with some interesting stories about what exactly the teaching is. Again, I have no idea. That we'll figure that out later. But the thing is that two of them develop this bond with this old monk who is breaking the rules. We love rule breakers, don't we? And he is doing the right thing there. And he's a very modern monk to a certain extent. And Elara has to play like this double role of like trying to pretend that she's obediently serving, but at the same time, she's growing. It's a bit like if you've ever seen the movie Yentl with Barbra Streisand. It's kind of a similar story where Yentl is a girl, but she wants to learn. And then her father tells her, "But that's not what girls do. Girls have to just be housewives." She's like, "I want to explore the world. I want to know. I want to learn." And so she disguises as a boy. And that, anyway, it's a wonderful movie, wonderful story, beautiful songs. But Elara doesn't have to dress up like a boy. Or maybe we could do that. Maybe she can join the class. That would be so cool. She's actually gonna disguise herself as a boy. Yes, that's what I'm gonna do. So that's how she gets away with mingling with the other boys, and at least in the corridors, going to the secret level where they will get their private lessons from the monk. But anyway, so they both develop this strong bond and acquire a lot of like magical powers because of him. And this is when the attack happens and the book is stolen for real and all the monks are killed. That will have a devastating impact emotionally, because through Tim and Elara, we've gotten to love this old guy who's breaking the rules. And he's like, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Don't tell anyone, but I think you deserve this. And so if he dies, we lose someone that we care for as well. And I think it will be so much better for the story when that it's not just because a book is stolen. Who cares about the book? It's because everyone got killed, especially this one monk who is emblematic for the other monks. And through his death, we feel the drama of the situation. And then I had a final thought. Again, me sharing this with you takes like 5 times as much time as writing it down, but this is going to be how I will introduce Aethan, the angel. So Aethan is an angel. I'm gonna try to use a lot of kind of Thomistic theology in his role, but at the same time, I've decided, maybe I already shared this with you, but Aethan is going to be also comic relief. He's such a weird angel, and because he's not human, so he thinks in a different way, and he doesn't understand humans. So it is a little bit of data in there, like does not compute. At the same time, because he has taken a body to be actually physically able to join whatever is going on, he is able to feel pain, he's able to feel emotions, but he doesn't know how to process it. So it is like data. It's like he's unfamiliar. And I think it's a bit of a trope, but I think it could be a lot of fun because I don't remember having ever read a story about an angel that has these kind of adaptation problems. But here's the cool idea, if I say so myself. I'm very modest about my book. No, so when they enter the library, this is after the alarm has been raised and they see everybody's dead, and it's like they hear someone crying in a corner, and they discover Aethan, but they think it's actually one of the monks that has survived. It's one of the younger monks. And he's hiding in a corner and he's crying, and Tim and Elara and all the others think, oh, it's just a traumatized monk. What they don't know yet is that that's actually Aethan, the angel, who has taken possession of the dead body of that young monk and is using that to infiltrate. Because what is truly going on? So at first he's pretending to be the only monk who survived, right? And he knows he tells them what happened and gives some details. So it's nobody doubts that he has survived. Even though maybe the wounds that he has should have killed him, but it's a miracle and thank God and everything. Then later on, he kind of teams up with Elara and Tim, right? And they're very kind to him, and they take pity on him, and because they think it's a monk, so they sympathize with him. But then he tells them, you know what? Actually, I didn't really tell you the truth. I'm not that young monk that you used to know. I am a guardian angel. I have failed. That's why I was crying, because I was tasked to protect maybe the leader of the scribes, because I'm a guardian angel and I failed. And when I saw that everything was lost, I knew I needed a body to see if I could do something to protect you. And so that's why I inhabited this body of this young monk. But I'm actually a guardian angel. And what he doesn't tell Tim and Elara is that too is a lie. Because he's a fallen angel. He's not a guardian angel. He's never been one. He was one of the fallen angels that has teamed up with these evil mages to steal the book. And he has been ordered to inhabit one of these monks and become an infiltrant. So he is going to be the linking pin with the evil mages. And so every once in a while, he has to make contact, like a spy story, right? He has to get in touch with the evil mages and report what's going on in the monastery, etc. But the thing is, he starts to really feel for Tim and Elara because they trust him so much. They're so kind to him. And so every time he goes and betrays their friendship by reporting to the evil mages, he feels guilt, his conscience, which is kind of linked also maybe to the fact that he's inhabiting this body of a young monk, uh, starts to play up, and he's more and more torn. And then he decides to switch camps. He decides to join Elara and Tim on their quest to recover the book. And that betrayal puts him on the most wanted list of the other fallen angels. And this is how I can create an exciting, but also like, how do you say that? Yeah, well, exciting arc for what's his name, Aethan. So because he is now also a wanted angel who is still trying to learn to behave like a human. He thinks like an angel, and he's been lying to everyone. He's been lying that he is a guardian angel. He's lying to the other monks that he's actually a human monk. And he's lying to Tim and Elara. And then later on, he's lying to the, or at first maybe he's lying to the evil mages that he's still their infiltrant, etc. So anyways, he's very torn. And he never tells Tim and Elara that he's actually a fallen angel and that he was one of the reasons that all the monks got killed. That is going to be the ultimate test of their friendship in the final chapters. It's when Elara and Tim discover that he's actually the main cause that their beloved teacher was dead. And then it becomes so much more impactful when they finally resolve that betray, or whatever drives them apart. Because I could see how Elara and Tim kind of have a fallout, because she is never accepted as a girl, even though she now has the same magical powers as Tim, but the other mages accept her. And so that's how she switches camps. And then you have this fallout with the angel who has betrayed both of them because he's a fallen angel. They no longer trust him. And so that isolates the three of them at the moment where they should be united, because the final battle obviously needs the bond of their common friendship and their united powers to overcome the evil and win back the book, right? So there you have it. So much more interesting in terms of relationships and backstory and tensions and unresolved issues. This is going to be such a cool book. I wish I wasn't writing it. I wish someone would have written this and I could just read it.